Hello, and welcome once again. J76NY here, and this is episode number 2 of our playthrough of Suzerain Rizia. We are King Hugo Toras in this playthrough. We've got a lot of work to do here. We've got, in our region, we've got several meetings to attend to, and in the regional map, we've got quite a bit. My guess is this is going to be welcome to the League of Rulers. Congratulations on your ascension to the throne. But we're going to go through it because, well, we don't have any choice. The way I usually like to start episodes is by going through the news. But first, I'm going to go through all these icons here. We've got the overview, our military policies, situations. Whenever you have a new item, it's highlighted by the little dot there. Military conscription, provisional division obligations. This gives a ton of information about each one of these things. Arrangement strengthens the central military force while preserving provincial autonomy in recruiting and training. Principal standing military body of armed forces, the RRAF, encompasses the land, naval, and air forces with its headquarters in Montclair. And under General Carlos Azero's leadership, the forces stand as a beacon of the kingdom's defensive might, albeit ranking not in the top 5 in size in eastern Maricopa. The Fulce Dator Military Industrial Complex, located in the heart of Fulce Dator, the Forge of Rizia, is renowned for its expansive foundries and factories. Probably should be looking for some of these things on the map, but we'll come across them eventually. The Royal Fulce Foundry, the most prominent among them, sits majestically at the end of King's Avenue and primarily equips the Rizian police and military with weapons forged from local iron. Pale's Administrative District Border Fortifications. It's way down here. An expansive network of trenches and land defenses along the Rizian-Pales border constructed 2 decades ago for strategic defense against potential threats. This fortified barrier reinforces the Rizian claim and ensures security in the region. Let's see. Small Rizian fleet. Heavy reliance on foreign equipment. A significant chunk of Rizia's military hardware comes from international markets. This overdependence on foreign suppliers jeopardizes operational autonomy, making defense strategies vulnerable to international politics and supply chain disruptions. The reduction to a smaller Rizian fleet marks a significant strategic challenge, limiting Rizia's maritime operational scope. The situation necessitates a heightened focus on tactical ingenuity and efficient resource allocation to safeguard national maritime interest and maintain a competitive edge in naval encounters. As you can see, there's quite a lot of things to go through. The core size composition of the mechanized and motorized forces strike a critical balance between substantial combat power and mobility. These units, equipped for a variety of military operations, excel in both offensive and defensive roles. Their core-level structure allows for significant tactical flexibility, making them a versatile and reliable component of the national defense strategy. Military stockpile is at a moderate level, covering essential infantry weapons, anti-tank, anti-air systems, and vital equipment like armor, gear, and communication tools. While it fulfills immediate defense requirements, there's a clear need to enhance the stockpile, including upgrades in gear and technology to ensure long-term preparedness and operational efficiency. There is a lot to go through. Rizian Armed Forces maintains a balance but not desired level of manpower, adequate for current defense requirements. This equilibrium achieved through steady recruitment and retention efforts ensure a stable military force capable of fulfilling national defense objectives. However, the need for vigilance and manpower planning remains to adapt to security challenges. Formation of a dedicated paratrooper brigade, while smaller in scale, represents a strategic enhancement of Rizia's airborne assault capabilities. This unit's specialized training and equipment enables high mobility, rapid response operations crucial for seizing key portions of and conducting surprise assaults. From what I understand, in some of the pictures I've seen, there may be a kind of a tactical element to this game that the base game did not have, so it'd be interesting to see where that leads as we move through the playthrough. This unit's specialized training and equipment enables high mobility. Yep, already read that. The brigade's existence reflects Rizia's commitment to maintaining a dynamic and flexible military force capable of adapting to a multitude of combat scenarios. The establishment of a new Marine division signals a strategic enhancement in Rizia's military structure. This development showcases a focused investment in specialized amphibious units, bolstering Rizia's capacity for swift and effective maritime operations. The division is poised to play a pivotal role in the coastal defense and offensive operations, reinforcing Rizia's strategic presence in key maritime regions. So it seems like our armed forces are in pretty good shape, with the exception of our dependence on foreign equipment. Whether or not we get the opportunity to change that going forward, I don't know. So we'll have to find that out as we play. The formation of a sizable mountaineering corps underscores Rizia's strategic emphasis on mountain warfare and terrain-specific combat readiness. This specialized force enhances Rizia's defensive and offensive capabilities in rugged terrains, providing a significant tactical advantage in mountainous regions. The Corps' presence also serves as a deterrent to adversaries contemplating incursions into Rizia's high-altitude territories. That's it for that. That's the military. Law. We have capital punishment, a homosexual ban, legal prohibition on homosexual relationships, ban, semi-centralized political structure. Kingdom operates under a semi-centralized constitutional monarchy, a governance model where the monarch retains significant power, but certain facets of provincial governance are directly left to regional authorities. Labor hands restricted. Guest workers face rights restrictions. Symbolic House of Delegates. House of Delegates primarily plays a symbolic role in the nation's legislative framework. While members actively engage in policy debates, their direct influence on the enactments of those policies remains notably limited. State media control and citizenship by blood right. Citizenship can be granted based on a person's ancestral descendants of Rizian blood. Okay, policies, situations. No separation of powers, unfair treatment of foreigners. We got the bloods in here as well, this playthrough. Weak human rights. Detention without trials, limited freedom of expression, and looming specter of capital punishment signifies an ambivalent stance on individual liberties. We've got adequate women's rights, moderately homogeneous society, royal traditions upheld. All right. The economy. Resource-based economy from gold, gas, and oil. And world-class wine. Rizian Royal Gold. Located southeast of Rizia near Topaz in the Bay of Mattis, the Esquires gas field. Esquires, Eastern Maricopa's grandest offshore reserves. Rail and sea network seamlessly integrates land and maritime transport, ensuring smooth transit of goods and passengers. Brazilian wine industry and income tax. Football industry. Rizia's football industry is booming, is boosting the nation's passion for the sport. attracting both local fans and global audiences. Well, that's good. Another oil field situations here. Low extraction volume on the Nelvisar oil field, rigid energy economy, low production capacity, local tourist destination. Tourism focuses primarily on local visitors with limited international presence. While providing some economic benefit, the nation's tourist potential remains largely untapped, missing opportunities for global cultural exchanges and economic growth. Once again, whether or not we can affect that is up in the air. Welfare. Rizian welfare traditions, landlord favoring tenant laws, market-driven housing, fully state-owned health and educational institutes, and no drug addiction treatment. Horrible workers' rights. The kingdom faces a critical situation regarding labor rights, with rampant exploitation, inadequate safety, and poor representation. This has led to widespread unrest and dissatisfaction among workers across various sectors. Right, so we got to work on our workers' rights, tourism, Golden Guard Brigade, Rizian Police Force. This gives backgrounds into all of these. Ineffective foreign intelligence, weak border security, and lack of order in the city-state of Iza are stuff we have to work on. Diplomacy. We are a member of the AN, which is the Alliance of Nations. We are a member of Grace, which is the Guild of Royal Allies for Commercial Exchange. We participated in the Zeal Agreement, which gave Wayland the top portion of our country here. Got to be a better way to move around the map here. This is the territory of Zeal. We are an OMEC member, the Organization for Mercopan Economic Cooperation, and a MITS board member. Meftime International Trade Zone. Mixed global image. We have to work on our global image. Global image of the country presents a complex mix of positive and negative perceptions. While certain aspects of its foreign policy and international conduct have been lauded, other actions or decisions have drawn criticism or skepticism. Mixed reputation affects Rizia's diplomatic leverage and necessitates a nuanced approach to international relations. All right, so that's just the overview right here. Connections. So we've got the Royal Council with Hugo Toras as the Grand Vizier. That's our uncle. Lorenzo Esquivel, our Foreign Affairs Counselor. And you can see there's a ton of information. After graduation and Valero's subsequent to the military. Okay. Crap. Sal Ignatius, we already met him. He's the Pope. Elena Werner is the Treasury and Economic Counselor. And Lucida Azaro is the War and Security Counselor. Highest-ranking member of House Azaro. She's the daughter of General Thaddeus Azaro and the niece of the late Duke Domus Azaro IV. So that's our Royal Council, kind of our group of advisors. The House of Delegates, right here. This is the RNC. Has 44 seats in the House of Delegates, and the RPP has 26. Speaker of the House is Daria de Rava. And the leader of the RNC is her as well. Manis Sazon, he's from House Sazon, is the leader of the RPP, Rizian People's Party. Let's go back. What that other party is here. Rizian National Coalition. Cool. Noble houses. The House Azaro. House Azaro is the ruling family of the city of Monteclar and the province of Cardes Monteclar. It is the second most powerful of the Rizia's 3 noble houses. Its sigil is a pair of crossed swords. House Suzerain members are the ruling family of the province of Brennus, and its sigil is a cactus. Historically, the Suzerains are known to be patrons of arts and education. And here we are. Currently the ruling family of Rizia and the most powerful of the country's 3 noble houses. It controls the throne as well as the province of Monkeys and the city of Iza. Codex. That's what we were just looking. That's the journal where it lists everything that we've done. Past reports. We haven't done any reports yet, and you can take notes. Feel free to take notes here to help remember important points, which I never did and probably contradicted myself in all my previous playthroughs. And the journal there. All right, let's get into what we have to do today. Let's read the newspaper first. We've got the Royal Herald, Rufus Gregg's Royal Gossip, Coronation Fashion Edition. Great. For the first televised coronation in history, the royal family pulled out all the stops, while King Romus looked resplendent in his gold brocaded robe. All eyes were on Queen Mother Estella, what my mom looks like. Alright, well that's what my mom looks like. Queen Estella, who strode through the grand hall in a flowing purple gown. Okay. I'll linger here for a couple seconds if you actually care about this stuff. The trio put on a good show, but the absence of House Toras' most beautiful and stylish member, the late Princess Consort Lena of Rumburg, was acutely felt. Should His Majesty ever remarry, his new wife will have a hard time outdressing her predecessor. Here we go. All of Rizia rejoiced as our new king, Romus Toras, celebrated his coronation in the grand hall of Palace Resna. His Majesty was a picture of grace as he proceeded through the hall together with the Queen Mother and Princess Vina. In a solemn ceremony accompanied by the boys' choir Azilba and presided over by Grand Wiseman Sale Ignatius, he accepted the Taurus crown and the bejeweled orb representing our nation's proud trio of noble houses. He rose as king and climbed the stairs to greet his public from the palace balcony. Some 20,000 commoners arrived from all corners of the country and were generously allowed into the palace grounds for the occasion. Geopolitical. I think they're a holdover from the base game. Rizian Coronation raises question. Who is Romus Toras? As of today, Rizia has a new king, Romus Toras, son of the late monarch Valero the Frail. Coronation itself was by the book, leaving us wondering what's going on in the brain underneath that new crown. King Toras' years as Duke of Monkeys provided some indication, but will his priorities change now that he has the entire country under his rule? Most experts agree that the new direction for Rizia is needed in order for the country to reclaim its place on the global stage following the fizzled-out reign of Valero the Frail. But which direction will that be? Give me more than one day on the throne, and you will find out. All right. We got stuff to do here. Let's read the report from Monkeys. Hugo Toras appointing acting Duke of Valenquires. I know that's not how you say it. I can't get it out, though. Valenquois. There. With the governing seat of Monkeys opened after our ascension to the throne, it was decided that our cousin Hubertus, the closest Taurus relative living in the province, would assume the position until if and when Princess Vina is appointed Duchess. In a private message, he sent his assurances that he and his family would remain servants of the king. Okay. Coronation honored at Camp Domus. To mark our coronation, acting War and Security Council Duchess Lucida Azaro together with head of the armed forces Carlos Robles and Azaro, led the military forces in Camp Domus in special exercises. Most other high-ranking members of House Azaro were present at the festivities, with the exception of General Thaddeus, who remained in hospital after suffering a stroke. Up. Up. Celebes. Suzerain sends formal congratulation. Suzerain nobility has issued their formal congratulations on our coronation. Family members hosted an outdoor screening at the ceremony at Arenas Celebes, attended by citizens from across the province. Here we go. Early morning at Palace Rizna. King's Dining Hall. So we actually have something to do here. Sweet. Go to the global thing and get all these out of the way here. Duke Reinhardt of the Grand Duchy of Pales sends his well wishes. The letter from the Palace capital, Duke Reinhardt expresses congratulations on her coronation. He hopes that the transition will usher a new chapter of Pelesian-Rizian affairs, relations. Morellan Prime Minister Alma Sultana sends congratulations and a gift. Newly elected Prime Minister of Morella reached out after our coronation, sending her best wishes and desire to work more closely. What's the gift? I guess we're gonna Norris Republic of Dirdia. Dirdian leader Georgia Osmal has sent us a message of his congratulations. God is with us despite our differing interpretation of the Ruhist religion. Kingdom of Rumburg. Nothing from Swordland. Dix. When is this? 1950? This is, oh my god. Can you move it with WASD? Yes, you can. This is the time before Anton reign. So, Queen Beatrice and Grace send formal congratulations. That's my sister-in-law. Queen Beatrice Livingston. Slightly younger than she was in Suzerain. Still, like she could use a nap. And a cheeseburger. Upon returning home from the coronation ceremony, Queen Beatrice sent an official message of congratulations on behalf of both Rumburg and Grace, which is Guild of Royal Allies for commercial exchange, which we already looked at. And it says right there, she welcomed us to the ranks of the world's remaining monarchs and attached a personal note expressing her sorrow that her sister did not live to see the coronation. Right? Got something else over here? Oh. Here we go. The morning after my coronation, I was awoken by a knock on the door. It took me a few seconds to remember where I was. The royal bedroom on the top floor of the residential wing of Palace Resna. Got a picture? Kind of. Made the one in the Toras Palace at Monkeys look shabby. Ornate gold trim covered the walls. I was alone in a bed that could easily have slept four. 4, huh? The knocking on the door continued. Yes, who is it? Or go away, I'm sleeping. I could already see a direction I can go with Season 4, but we'll just worry about Season 3 for now. Yes. The door swung open and Pavel walked in, beaming. He's the head butler, my best friend since childhood. After I'd left for Monkeys, my friend had worked his way up to chief butler. It was hard to believe he was now head of my royal household. Draw my bath, butler. Rise and shine, your majesty. Good to see you, Pavel. I knew this day would come, but it still feels odd having you wait on me. What nerve. Barge in here on the king again like that, and I'll have your head. Where's my newspaper? I knew this day would come, but it still feels odd having you wait on me. And he laughed. You had better get used to it. Everyone answers to you now. He drew back the heavy velvet curtains. Sunshine flooded the room. Hugo Toras, King of Rizia, you've come a long way since we were kids. Not really. All I had to do was get this job and wait for Father to die. God. So have you, Mr. Chief Butler. And yet, here I am in the exact same palace. Feels natural somehow, like I was born to do this. I'm going to go with that one because from an early age, I thought it was my birthright. You were. I'm glad you agree. Forgive me if I'm overstepping, but how are you doing? Losing your father must have been hard for you. It's complicated. I don't know what I should be feeling. To be honest, I am not that bothered. Must have been even harder being his butler. What the fuck? Oh, man. Thank you for your concern. Anything I can do to make your life easier, I'm here. He opened the door to my armoire and began pulling out items of clothing. You have quite the packed schedule this morning. Why don't you eat breakfast with the girls while I get your outfit ready? Girls? Oh, my mother, too. Yes, maybe. Won't you eat with us? I can pick out my own clothes, Pavel. That sounds great. I'm going to invite him to eat with us because he's my buddy. He shook his head. I ate in the servants' quarters before coming here. There are hierarchies to be observed now that you're king, I'm afraid. We're still friends, though, right? Hierarchies are meant to be broken. You're the head butler, not a common scullery maid. I insist you join us next time. Can you at least stop calling me your majesty? We don't need to be so formal with you. What if we're still friends? Always. Be maravula un oxet solu. Nice to know. Oh, here we go. Two tides rise, one sun sets. This will be fun, just like old times. Thanks. Let's catch up later. Enjoy your breakfast. Still in my bathrobe, I headed downstairs, because I can do shit like that now that I'm king. In the eastern dining room, an enormous breakfast spread had been laid out. My mother was already sitting at the table, digging a spoon into a single grapefruit half. You're supposed to rise when the king enters the room. Good morning, Mother. That's all you're eating? Morning. Same to you, darling. Geez, you didn't change your clothes since yesterday? Take that hat off. It's just breakfast. Despite the early hour, my mother was already in her full makeup. She dabbed her lips with a napkin. I should just not make offhanded comments. I hope you're satisfied with yesterday's coronation. Your father's wasn't nearly as well attended. Well, nobody liked him, so because of you. What can I say? My people love me. That's only because the TV cameras, that was his fault. That was mostly your fault. See what I mean about these offhanded comments? I just shouldn't do it. It's only because of the TV cameras. Oh, don't sell yourself short. Her eyes grew serious. What did he say to you before he died, by the way? I never asked. And not to make the same mistakes he did. He told me to take back the lands that were lost, and I'd rather keep that private. I'll tell her about the mistakes. He must have been talking about zeal and pales, his great follies. The pity he didn't live to preside over my homeland's big return to Rizia, but soon you will. Zeal will be ours again, and so will pales. Only 1 year to go until the treaty expires. I'm already planning a reunification ceremony. Paladia, if it is said, so it is, so it will be. I don't even know what that means. There we go. We'll get them back. Don't worry, Mom. Never cared much about pals, but I don't have to tell you how much zeal means to me. But don't let my nattering keep you from eating. The king needs energy. She handed me a Rosetta, the traditional rice and quince custard tart. The crust was exceptionally flaky. Just then, Vina came bounding down the stairs. Seems kind of old to be bounding. And still dressed for yesterday. Isn't it a lovely morning? My daughter kissed Mother on the cheek, then gave me a shy wave. I nearly got lost on the way here, Grandma. Didn't you live here? Why didn't you tell me the palace had such a big library? Well, no, she wouldn't have lived there as my daughter, but I did as heir apparent. Because I didn't want to hold up in there all the time. A grandmother's got to see her granddaughter every so often, you know. Why don't you join her in the library? Vina eagerly took a plate and started piling it high with pastries. My mother clicked her tongue disapprovingly. Not too many of those. The sweeter the taste, the wider the waist. Don't you agree, Romus? Absolutely. If you eat this much of everything every morning, you'll never get married. And whatever you say, Mother. Or Mom. It's not. It says, Vina, eat as much as you want, or it's a special occasion. Our diet can start tomorrow. I am not going on a diet. Eat as much as you want. Pig out. Who cares? Took a bite of Rosetta and gave an exaggerated sigh of pleasure. My mother rolled her eyes. Suit yourself. Now, if anyone in this place could make a halfway decent strudel, that would be worth ruining one's figure for. Strudels are pretty good, gotta admit. We ate for a while in silence. Now, if I was actually King Hugo Toras, I would be having scrambled eggs with cheese covered in sriracha, or Frank's, if they have that. They would, because I'm king and I demand it. And peanut butter toast. With some coffee. We ate for a while in silence. Daughter looked lost in thought. She spoke up. Father, I wanted to ask you something. You know I'm 18 now. Okay. Guess it's time you start taking on more responsibilities. I know, you've got to start thinking about where to study. We're already behind on finding you a husband. Yes, and that old? How time flies. I can definitely attest to this one. Time you start taking on more responsibilities, because this job's going to be yours soon. Exactly. I think I'm doing the right thing with my kid. I was thinking I'm old enough to accompany you to your council meetings. Oh. It's unusual for a female heir to join the council, I know, but didn't you do the same thing when you were my age? Well, 18 is old enough to get involved in royal politics. The council is no place for a princess. Yes, but I had to keep my mouth shut. Yes, but they were too dull to bear. Why not? And, Liza the Great is a huge legacy for me to live up to. Shouldn't have to worry about living up to anyone's legacy. You're great in your own right. My grandmother's achievements weren't as noteworthy as everyone says. She just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Greatness is something you're born with, my daughter. You can't glean it off others. We'll go with that one. Queen Liza herself would disagree. That's why she worked so hard to improve educational opportunities for women. Oh. Her Majesty loved women, yes, except for the one her son married. That's her. In any event, sweetheart, your father is the one wearing the crown right now. Not Liza, not you, yet. She looked at me sharply. And what your father needs is for your lovely little face to be seen at balls and ribbon-cutting ceremonies, not hidden behind council doors. Your grandmother's right, Vina. As the princess, it's up to you to serve as the ultimate example of beauty and grace in our country. Now, Mother, we both know Vina is much more than a pretty face. That's an outdated image of a princess, isn't it? If Vina wants to get involved in politics, I don't see why I shouldn't let her. It is true that you'll learn more about how the world works by being out in it, not by shadowing me. Oh, all right. Well, this is actually kind of an important one here. Vina is much more than a pretty face. Is just kind of, it seems like empty flattery. Outdated image of a princess, isn't it, Vina? She obviously has women's rights in mind. Vina wants to get involved in politics. I don't see why I shouldn't let her. She might take that the wrong way. Like, oh, so I'm just another pretty face, eh? It's true that you'll learn more about how the world works by being out in it, not by shadowing me. Even though I just told her she can come shadow me. We'll go with the outdated image. It would mean the world to me, Father. You want to spend the best years of your life cooped up in the den of snakes? The council isn't some wise, all-knowing entity. Everyone on it is only looking after their own house and their own stature. And God help you if you're in the way of either of those. My counselors represent many cumulative decades of experience. I would not discount their wisdom. I've always found it odd that we entrust the country's direction to a handful of privileged nobles. I do not find that odd. Who else is going to run the country? The butlers. My father may have allowed his council to run roughshod over him. I will not make that mistake. That's enough, Mother. This is my decision to make. My counselors represent many cumulative decades of experience. Not a false statement. Their wisdom turned pails into a bloodbath and sparked an uprising. It almost got you killed. I don't know if the uprising was the council's fault. From what I've read, there were many factors. And besides, if choosing when to ignore the council will be part of my future duties, I need to learn how to do that too. I like her. I promise it'll be like I'm not even there. And I'll step out in public as much as I can. Vina looked at me with pleading eyes. All right, Vina, you can come to the meetings. Your grandmother's just jealous, Vina. You can join the meetings if you want. You're not coming to the council meetings, Vina. That's an order. Sorry, but your grandma's right. You get bored in these meetings anyway. We're going to go with that one. My daughter's face lit up. Thank you. I can't wait to start. Oh, I better refresh myself on Rizian law. Well, go have at it. She pushed her plate away and dashed back up to the stairs. Once she was gone, my mother lit a cigarette. You do realize that she'll be nothing but a liability to you in that room. I don't care. She's my daughter and she'll get what she wants. She's the heir apparent. It'll be a good education for her. One more Toras on the council is an asset, not a liability. What does it matter? The council's an antiquated institution anyway. One more Toras on the council is an asset, not a liability. But she's not actually on the council, though. She's just kind of there. She's the heir apparent. What worked for me is also going to work for her. I hope you're right. Well, so do I. The clock struck 9:15. My first council meeting was starting soon. I excused myself from the table. As I was leaving the dining room, my mother cleared her throat. You always believed you'd make a good king, you know, even if he didn't always show it. Really don't care what my father thought of me. It won't just be good, I'll be the best. Thank you for saying that, Mom. I headed back upstairs to fetch Vina. It was almost time to go. There we go. Got more news to read. More other stuff to look at. Nothing in the international market. Let's... Baron and Baroness of Valencois reaffirm loyalty after absence. Security forces were dispatched to the estate of Lord and Lady Julio and Octavia Toras following their... I wonder who that is. She's related to us. Following their conspicuous absence from our coronation. In the past, the couple was suspected of spreading false rumors discrediting King Valero's claim to the throne. However, they testified that their absence was due to a bout of food poisoning from improperly prepared shellfish and enthusiastically reaffirmed their fealty to me. 1950 to be an exceptional wine year. All right. Cantuavo family vineyard in Qualis has begun bottling its latest batch of veal. First, blah, blah, blah. Good year for wine. Oh boy. Coronation celebrations, or read the... well. House of Delegates holds first allegiance ceremony. For the occasion of the first Rizian coronation since the founding of the House of Delegates, Majority Leader Daria del Rava called a special session where members took an oath of allegiance to the crown. Each parliamentarian was asked to stand and affirm his or her commitments to serve under King Romus's reign with dedication and integrity. And a party. The Rizian public is eager to celebrate their new king's coronation. Investing in lavish celebrations could make a good first impression and earn their favor. There is a lot of anti-monarchy sentiment running through the country. I know we haven't really seen it in our playthrough yet, but it's been building. If you watched the video in the community section, that's a long time in coming. A small parade in the capital, Porte Drazan. Parades and banquets in major cities. That's -1 to the budget. Parades, banquets, and balls in all cities. -2 to the budget. +1 to authority. Now we got the budget to spare. Do it. Republic of Lesbia. Country relationship updated. Grand Duchy of Pales. Country relationship updated with Rumburg. Stat increased authority. Budget decrease. Alright. This is all about here. Family. Vina Toras. Rizia's Lady Regent. She is the daughter of King Romus, so she's my sister. Wait. No, it's my daughter. Wow, what a dumbass. Alright, let's read the newspapers. Coronation party at Iza Palace marred by hooliganism? I don't think that's happened yet. Go back. Maybe not. Let's... Post-coronation party held at the palace of Hugo Toras, Duke of Iza. He's my cousin. Was unfortunately interrupted by a small group of hooligans waving signs and chanting, "End the Taurus reign," at the gates. Aided by a number of civilian watchdogs from the Iza-based group Su Almenia, which I was a part of, police were able to... I wasn't a part of it. Swiftly disperse the troublemakers, many of whom appeared to be of foreign descent. When asked for comment, Duke Rico responded, "These criminals are guests in our country. If they want to live here, they've got to bend the knee to our king." There we go. Thanks, Rico. Arcasian armed forces advance in South Xena. Following its costly campaign in West Xena, Arcasia has intensified its military operations in South Xena, aiming to dismantle Malianist-leaning regimes and promote democratic governance. This move comes as Arcasia faces growing resistance from Narashima and Zlina, where CSP influence is on the rise. Montanan Security Pact. Conflict has escalated, with Arcasian armed forces engaging in fierce battles against well-entrenched local forces. Back home, the Arcasian public grows increasingly concerned about the souring military expenditures and the slow pace of resources extraction causing price inflation. Political overview with the Grand Vizier. The King's Dining Hall. Alright, we'll do that. The stairway to the Royal Council chambers was longer than I remembered. I took a moment to catch my breath in front of the carved oak doors. Hurry up, Father. It's not very kingly of you to be late. True king is never late. It's the others who are early. Better stop with that when we're inside. Very kingly of me to show up whenever I want. Okay, we'll go with that. After collecting my thoughts, I pushed open the door and walked in. Everything was just as it had been in my youth. The high dome ceiling with its skylights that shone into the center of the room, the oval mahogany table, the tall-backed red velvet chair where my father used to sit. To my slight surprise, the room was empty except for one man, my uncle. When Hugo saw me, he sprang to his feet. "Welcome, Your Majesty." No need to stand on ceremony with me, Hugo. Please sit. Good morning, Your Grace. Where's everybody else? Give him a big hug. You'll meet everyone else soon enough, but I thought a private chat with your Grand Vizier would be in order first. His eyes traveled to the doorway where Vina was still standing. Although it seems it won't be as private as I was expecting. Are you staying, Princess Vina? My daughter gave a shy nod. Yes, Uncle Hugo, I'm sitting in on the King's Council meeting. I was against the idea for the record, but she insisted. She's going to learn by experience just like I did. My thoughts exactly. Hugo frowned as he processed this new information, then broke into a smile. By all means, then, Your Highness, have a seat. Vina walked over to the table as I made my way to the red velvet chair. Once we were all seated, I turned to my uncle. How have you been? Busy. Managing the royal transition is a full-time job in itself. Between that and visits to Rico in Iza, I haven't had a day off since the funeral. As I listened to him, my eyes drifted towards the back wall. It was covered in portraits of Rizia's previous kings, including a newly painted likeness of my father. Excuse me. My dear brother. I do miss him, but I dare say it's time we had some fresh blood on the throne. As it's been quite some time since you last sat in these chambers, I've prepared an overview for you. Would you like to hear it? No. Please. I'm already up to speed, but I'm sure Vina would appreciate it. Thanks, but I already know everything. Go ahead, dude. As the king, you're both Rizia's head of state and commander of his armed forces, as well as the de jure governor of Rizia Imperii, Belenqua, the Pales administration, and the island of Calic... Oh, my God. Like your father and grandmother before you, you alone have the power to shape this country by passing royal decrees. As is tradition, over hundreds of years, each new ruler has passed the sovereign transition and clemency decree to start their reign. The kingdom will be expecting your decree very soon. Tradition is the enemy of progress. You should not be bound by the past. Thank you for your advice, Uncle. It's comforting to have your wisdom and experience guiding me at the start of my reign. Wow, there's a lot of choices. The decrees will play a significant role in my reign. They won't just be symbolic gestures, but tools to shape the future of Rizia. I like that one. I would never go against the traditions of Rizia. I will sign the decree as soon as possible. I've been looking forward to this all my life. Finally, I have the power to make decisions completely unchallenged. I'm going to go with that one. Wield this power wisely, Romus. The decrees you issue should strengthen the fabric of our kingdom, not tear it. Hugo reached for a neatly rolled parchment laying on the grand table. With deliberate movements, he unrolled it, revealing the prepared royal decree. The intricate script and the seal of Rizia was glinting under the chandelier's light. I and the rest of the royal council will advise you to the best of our ability and put forth decrees and state decisions for your approval. Ultimately, the king has the final say. However, you should not neglect the House of Delegates, the legislative assembly my brother set up to appease the opposition after the uprising. Yes, that was one of his better ideas. What a cowardly move. What about it? That's right, his theater of puppets. I guess that was his pretty good idea. I thought so as well. It gave Rizian the appearance of a constitutional democracy while keeping power firmly in the hands of the king. His Majesty Valero presided over the last election in 1949. Rizian National Coalition secured a House majority as always. They propose decrees and issue official approvals or disapprovals of the laws passed by you and the council. As Grand Vizier, it's traditional for me to attend their sessions and pass any relevant information on to you. Okay? Thanks for that, Your Grace. I will be counting on you. Why can't I attend? I want to be in touch with my populace. What do you think would be the consequences if I ignore them? Sounds like a waste of time. I'd rather just make all the decrees myself. What's the consequences if I ignore them? Officially, there are none. Unofficially, I'd advise you to take their input into account. No good can come from ignoring the will of the people. Do the delegates really represent the will of the people or just that of the nobility? And if they disagree with me, so what? I'll have them fired or beheaded. Oh, great. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. I'll be sure to listen to them. I'm here to serve, Your Majesty. Fortunately, the delegate speaker, Daria de Rava, is a Toras loyalist through and through. She should give you no trouble. The opposition is small, but worth keeping an eye on, especially the new leader, Anna Suzerain. Gave me a meaningful look. The opposition elected a Suzerain? Praetor's son? Got to be joking. I know all about him. The opposition elected a Suzerain. Not just any Suzerain. As you know, Duke Lucas Suzerain was executed for his role in your kidnapping in the 1926 uprising, while his wife Angelica was sent into exile on... Well, she remains under strict orders not to leave the island. No such restrictions were placed on the son she gave birth to shortly after her arrival. That's the one I was wondering why they didn't execute, and now he's come back to cause me problems. He opened a folder and took out a picture of a clean-cut young man. Vina leaned forward to peer at it. Upon finishing his studies in Crute, Republic of Crute, Manus returned to the mainland and proceeded to win the largest supporter base of any opposition leader we've seen thus far. His promises to give a voice to the common man seem to be resonating with the populace, part of it at least. Common man, he's descended from nobility. Relax, I'm not that concerned. I'd like to meet this fella. You're right to be wary of him. We've got to keep him in our sights. Yes, should have had him killed before he was born. Hugo closed the folder. Well, I'm on the subject. A word about our houses. House Toras. Our family currently controls the province of... Yep, I already went through all this. Our family currently controls the province of Valenquois, as well as the city-state of Iza. How is that place doing now that I left? What's really going on in Iza? Has Rico been well received at Duke? What about Rizia Imperii? We control that too, don't we? Got it. That's all. Well, let's find out. Be a long episode. Stable as always with you on the throne, me as Grand Vizier, and Rico in Iza. The governing seat has finally been filled by Hubertus, a distant cousin of ours. Of course, Princess Vina is eligible to take his place as the reigning Duchess. He nodded at my daughter. In a few years, maybe I still don't feel ready. You'll go when I tell you to. You're already smarter than I was when I became Duke, but it's your decision. He blushed. Thank you, Father. He tapped his fingers on the table. In any case, Your Majesty, I don't expect any trouble from Valenquois during your reign. It remains the wealthiest of Rizia's provinces and the least affected by crime. Keep their lives comfortable, and the locals there will stay loyal to you. Going on in Izza. Rico been well received? His face hardened. It's not a sign. Izza has been difficult since the Suzerain rebellion. Even more so now that native Rizians are in danger of being crowded out by migrants. Spat out the last word with some distaste. Oh, sorry about that. Rizians are in danger of being crowded out by some migrants. Considering the circumstances, I believe my son is doing just fine. Is Su Almina still based there? Yes, and I shudder to think what Izza would be like without it. What about Rizia Imperii? We control that too, don't we? Yes, Porte Drezon and its metropolitan area are controlled by central government, therefore House Toras. You don't need to worry about pleasing our house in this region, though. It's more crucial to retain the favor of the major corporations that are based here. Nonsense. It's the corporations who should be concerned with winning my favor. Understood. If our economy takes a hit, another uprising won't be far behind. Doesn't House Toras run any corporation? I'm going to go with that one. I think it would, it makes the most sense. Pale's administrative district is also under the jurisdiction of Rizia Imperii, since we reclaimed it in the early 20s. Yep. Cool. He nodded approvingly. As for the other houses, House Suzerain. Yes, aside from Izza, which is now under Rico's governance, all of Brennus is still their territory. This right here. The nobles there swore fealty to the crown in exchange for keeping a hold on their cities and their estates. But the return of Angelica's boy could test that loyalty. He is a rightful duke, after all. My father was too soft on the Sazons. Here we go. I'll keep them in line. Cannot be a duke and claim to represent democratic values at the same time. Also a good point. He lost that title when his father orchestrated my kidnapping. Wouldn't blame them for siding with him after House Toras stole Izza from him. Would I say that? Father was too soft on him. I was all for killing her. At the moment, they're the weakest of the three houses. We'll do well to ensure they stay that way. Lest we forget, Wayland is scheduled to return Zeal to Rizia next year. The Sazons expect the region to become part of their province, as it was before the uprising. Power balance between the houses is fragile enough. Adding so much land to Brennus would upset it beyond repair. That's very presumptuous of them. I can use it as a bargaining chip. Stay loyal to the crown or no zeal for House Sazon. I don't see any downsides of that. That's very presumptuous. As king, you have the authority to make zeal a part of the central government, similar to Rizia Imperii, an option to keep in mind. I will. Finally, House Azaro. Precisely. The rulers of Cardes Montecar and the stewards of the Rizian military. Must be aware of their patriarch Tadius's poor health. The general suffered a stroke shortly after King Valero's death. Yes, a shame. I never got to know him. The other option was, I hope the new war counselor is less of a hawk. No. His daughter Lucida is... Yep. The Duchess of Monteclar volunteered to take his place as War and Security Council. You'll meet her soon. should also know that factions within her province have begun calling for the return of Pales again. Why? Cardes Montecar is large and powerful enough. The Azaros are warmongers to a man or a woman. Won't let House Azaro down. We'll finish what the general started. Pales hasn't been part of Rizia for over a century. A lost cause. No matter your feelings on the subject, I'd advise you to take the house's concerns seriously. And he glanced at the clock. Well, I hope that was helpful. One more thing. As you are aware, a few years before your father's death, he reinstated the Golden Guard. Let's see what that is. An elite unit specifically designated to protect the king or queen of Rizia. Traditionally, the unit consists of 12 guards, though that number has fluctuated depending on the needs of the individual monarch. They are recognized by their gold-colored attire. Like the Swiss Guard, I'm assuming. Though recruited by the War and Security Counselor, they are answerable only to the country's monarch. The Guard was founded in 1650 by King Felicio Ruga. That's a lot. So they're my personal guard. Right, the personal security of my father. And where are they now? Here, sir, ready and able. Wow, where the hell did you come from? Titus Gordian, captain of the Golden Guard. Cool. For the first time, I noticed the man standing in the corner of the room. He was wearing a tight-fitting gold blazer that barely concealed his muscular physique. Meet Titus Gordian, captain of the Golden Guard. He and his men have been keeping a close watch on you since the coronation. What the hell? Has he been in the room with us the whole time? Okay, well, he did kind of come out of nowhere. Golden Guard appears only if and when he is needed, sir. Titus Pullo, and my own personal Titus Pullo, sweet, and his dozen men have been trained in the upper echelons of Rizia's elite military and police academies. Each has sworn an oath to protect the king and his family at all costs. What's with the costumes? Wouldn't plainclothes bodyguards be more effective? And how do we know they can be trusted? Seems like that'd be a good way to insult someone that you don't want to be on their bad side. I don't need all this. I can fend for myself. I got my ass kicked and kidnapped, so I can't. So they're guarding Vina and Queen Mother Estella as well. Great. Looking forward to working with them. There we go. Quick and easy. An honor, Your Majesty. He bowed to Vina. You look a little flustered. But didn't Queen Liza discontinue the Golden Guard because she thought they made royals look elitist and because he trailed off? Because she thought they were getting too powerful. Why our current force is less than a third the size it once was. Her father always had a fondness for Rizian tradition, so he spared no expense in bringing the guard back, albeit in a reduced form. You and your men better stay in line, Captain Gordian. Almost me to be worthy of such an elite unit's protection. He was right to do so. The most important family in Rizia deserves the most important security force. There we go. Won't let you down, sir. Thank you, Titus. You may wait outside the chamber until the meeting's conclusion. Titus nodded and swiftly left the room. Noon already. Shall we and the young heiress break for a glass of wine before the council convenes this afternoon? Don't drink, Hugo. Gladly. Another time, Your Grace. I'm your superior now. Wouldn't be appropriate. I have much to catch up on. Let's go have a drink. I think your father kept a store of vintage Catavudo in one of these cabinets. Thank you for the invitation, Uncle Hugo. He turned to look my daughter in the eye. What an intelligent and well-mannered young woman you've grown up to be, Your Highness. You know how overwhelming the capital can seem compared to Monkeys. If you ever have a question, don't be afraid to come to me. Very kind of you, Uncle Hugo. Yes, too kind. Perv. Listen to your uncle, Vina. He knows how everything works around here. What is my role as Grand Vizier if not to advise the royal family? Vina finished jotting down some notes as Hugo went searching for the wine. All right. I've got a decree available. I saw that before it disappeared off the screen. This. Royal decrees. All right. Well, we will pick this up again in the next episode. That was a pretty good introduction to my duties as king. Anyway, if you like this episode, hit the like button. If you have any thoughts, tips, or advice, leave those in the comment section down below. If you want to follow along with King Toras, hit the subscribe. And we'll see you for episode number 3, J76NY, saying thank you very much for watching and have yourself a very good day.